we noticed a thing last year, didn't we? That often when we play music, magically, the person who's been singing pops up on the phone. And that's no exception, because we have Emmy award-winning, multi-Grammy award-winning artist, singer-songwriter, superstar, Toni Childs herself on the wireless with the two blokes chatting. Good morning, Toni.
Good morning.
Oh, please don't pause like that. It makes me think that Rob's hung up on you.
Toni, thank you for coming back. I reckon this is the third time we've chatted, and it's always a delight. You're one of us now, although you've still... Talk a little bit funny. You decided some time ago to make Australia home. You're still happy with that decision?
Oh, absolutely. I made the best decision. I'm one of the bunch now.
No, it's really good. You're ensconced in what they call, is that the Northern Beaches, or a bit further up than that?
Northern Rivers.
Yeah, they say the Northern Rivers.
Rivers, yeah.
Rob's never been very strong on geographical features, Toni.
No.
He struggles a bit with...
I flew over your place a couple of times, but I've never called in. I probably should do that one day.
It's absolutely stunning. And actually, I moved from Kauai, Hawaii, and it looks like Kauai. And everything except coconut, except I'm planting 2 new coconut trees actually on my property.
You must have ESP, because my next question was going to be what part of the world you're in now reminds you most of the part of the world you came from. And yeah, there you go. You've already done it.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Toni, for joining us. That's all we've got. That was the only question Rob had. No, that's not true. Now, there's a reason we're talking to you today, apart from the fact that you are now officially a friend of the blokes, because whilst it's your third appearance on this station, only the second appearance on this program, but that's all you need to do to be a friend of the blokes. You are coming to Geelong. We'll talk a bit about that before, but just to remind folk, take us back to where it all started as a singer, and then we'll work our way through your singing career, and then start talking about what else you're doing, because there's some other really good stuff you're doing as well.
Well, okay, so I guess I grew up as a kid who basically felt life a million times greater than everybody else. That's what it felt like anyway from my experience internally. And so I just would sing to soothe myself and make up little songs, and that I'm still doing it all these years.
Toni, you've got a very unique voice. At what age did you understand that and start to realise that maybe this is what you're supposed to be doing?
Well, it's really quite interesting because I can remember an event. I was our principal of our school. I think I was like 8 or around 7 or 8 years old, and our principal of our school was a choir teacher also. It was a small school, and she put me together with this other girl to sing, and we were doing a performance for the parents, teachers, right, of the community. And so we're like about to go on, and the little gal I'm doing the duet with, because please don't sing in that voice.
I've regularly been asked not to sing with my voice, but that's for a totally different reason.
And then, I don't know, I just very defiantly, I just kind of dug in and sang even louder. And then the principal of the school called my mom and said, I think you need to put her into opera singing lessons, which my mom didn't do, and I'm really grateful she didn't. Otherwise, I'd have a different voice than I have now.
The tone of it, is there something, it is just purely natural, and no matter what you do, that's the way it comes out, or have you cultivated a little to keep the uniqueness?
No, it's interesting. I always wanted to have my voice, right? I wanted to be my voice. That was something, I don't know, internally that felt very important to me, instinctually, right? That it would be my voice. And then what's interesting is that my voice was at a much lower register, right? When I started writing and performing and, putting together bands and all of that stuff. And then as I've gotten, and it was quite throaty. And what's interesting is I have a higher octave now, and my voice is much more open. It's less throaty. It's quite interesting. It's just developed on its own. I haven't tried to do anything more than just live.
We spoke with one of Australia's finest, also from your original neck of the woods, Marcia Hines, a few months ago, and she pointed out the fact she's now in her early 70s, so slightly older than you, but she has been singing for 50 or 60 years professionally, and she now listens back to her own voice from, the mid-70s when she sort of first hit the scene, to comparing it now. She said, I've done nothing except my voice sounds so much different.
Yeah, I think it's life experience. I mean, I think when I was first signed and all of that, I was still developing my voice, my ability to speak for myself, right? And it was reflected in that. I think I was writing very personally, as I always do, about my experiences. And, that was a big deal to do that, to put it on a record. I'm so glad on my records. I'm so glad I did. But when you're first doing it, you're just like, is this too much information? And yet it really is, I think, proven to me that there are more people where we have a similar emotional landscape, right? And the things that I was focusing on and wanting to write myself from, because that's what my music has been about. I have a problem. I want to I sing my way through it, right? And that's really connected with so many other people who, like me, I guess, are wanting to put their compass, get their head right about what they're dealing with, right?
And I guess some of the things you're talking about, people would love an opportunity to say it. You've got the ability to sing it, and I guess it must give you an opportunity to inspire other people who are in the same boat.
Well, it's so interesting. I was just on Facebook, and this man said to me, I want to thank you for your music. Your music has made me feel it's safe to be me, unapologetically me. Mm. It's given me the ability to go, you know what, I'm okay. And that feeling of comfort and realization, he said he got through the music. I just turned into a puddle. I started crying. I mean, I can't think of the best thing, because isn't that what we all want? We want to find a place of self-acceptance and maybe release, ways that we can feel other people perceive us. There's so many different things that we could spend hours talking about this. But we're all dealing with that. And that's our resonance, is to feel good, to feel joyful, unabashedly, right? To go for the things, follow our dreams, follow the things that are calling to us, and have the courage to walk through doors even though we might be rejected, right? All that stuff.
You grew up in an era, I guess, where there was a lot of storytellers in songwriting, and I suppose you had inspirations there. But was it some of those people that helped you gain the confidence to maybe sing your thoughts, as you just discussed then, rather than try and articulate them in other ways? But you seriously have been a great carrier of messages in your beautiful work as well.
I was always a storyteller, even before I knew I was going to be a singer, right? Because I didn't even know I could be a singer, right? I fell upon it accidentally, and so I was always writing my thoughts or making up little songs on my own to soothe myself, right? But I would write a story. I'm a storyteller first, right? But I would put it, how I was feeling, into something, and I just naturally did that. I think I didn't see as many storytellers because of the way I was raised. I wasn't allowed to listen to popular music. So I was just, I was raised, I'm a granddaughter of two missionary families. And so it was really limited what I was exposed to, right? And there was kind of a tight reins on it. But live music would just like, listening to guitars and a band and the blues and all that stuff, it was just like, I wanted to get up there and do it, right?
Toni, that message that you just mentioned before about a fan on Facebook, it sort of resonates in that you're telling stories for your own entertainment, but at some stage you must have realised that you have the power to take that to another level by messaging, making a difference, influencing debate of the time. Was there a clear time in your creativity that you understood the difference between telling your story and telling your story to benefit others?
You know, I didn't really do it on purpose. You know, really contrive, right? I find what happens for me that I am in full respect of is that I'll have a really, really strong emotion. And what I've learned about me is that it just expresses where the words come tumbling out. There's no thought. I'm just singing in the feeling of the moment that I'm feeling it. And I'll plunk really bad. You know, I'm a horrible musician, but I play everything really badly. And but enough to write out a song. And so, or I'll hear a piece of music, like if I'm writing with somebody, and they'll make some chords, and then suddenly I have to have a tape recorder recording all the time, because what comes out of me is like an accident. Right? It's not. I don't want to say an accident. I'm on a thread of a feeling in my body that feels huge, and then those chords and that music, suddenly it takes me, it captures me, and then I start to sing on it and like a soaring bird. And then afterwards, you know, I've learned that my ego goes, I want to write about this, but it's so much better when it just soars out of me so naturally. And it just does. It's crazy.
The introduction of mobile phones must be a great thing for you. Then we have a friend who is a fledgling songwriter who says she'll stop the car in traffic and just start singing into her phone because the idea has come to her. She doesn't have to carry around a tape recorder anymore.
Exactly.
You must look really funny at the local shops saying, hang on a minute, stop. I'll order my lunch in a minute. I just want to sing him a song into my phone. Must be a right to go out with.
Toni, is there some frustration? Some of the messaging in your song, some of the things that have poured out, as you said before, have been about issues that have affected you or others, and certainly equality and treatment of women in general is one of those. A lot of people like you are messaging. The problem itself doesn't appear to be getting any better necessarily. What's your view on the status of women in modern society?
Well, it's interesting. It's like you have forces that want to take us back, and you have forces, but without great opposition, you can't. It sharpens your intelligence. It sharpens you have to make a stand for yourself, right? To love yourself. These ideas of like last feelings, it's all bullshit. We're making that stuff up, so why make a trap for us and then blame somebody else for doing it? There's all that kind of stuff, right? It's understanding we each, if we lock arms and have that, then we really create a thing. And then we have opposition from that, a greater opposition from that. And that's a lot of that stuff is getting played out as far as I see it socially, right? But the thing is that regardless of who you are, where you come from, whether you're Aboriginal, whether you're a woman, whether you're a gay man, or whether you're whatever it is, if you're in a family that your dad would disapprove because you want to be a sculptor and he wants you to be a builder, you know, all of these things, these oppositions are there to grow us, grow us into being true to ourselves, and to be able to articulate and have a voice in the different directions that are calling us, that is true for us, instead of us living a false lie and then punishing other people because they're not willing to live a false lie either, right? So I guess I have a lot to say on this subject.
And you are more than welcome to say it here. I think it also, a strength of character becomes really important, doesn't it? On a very, very, very trivial example, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a radio broadcaster, and my parents said, no, you're not going to do that. Go and get yourself a proper job. And, I didn't let go of the dream, and albeit on a small station in Geelong, not getting paid to do it, I've got there. And I guess it doesn't matter what level of commitment you have to a task. If you stick with it one day, it just might happen.
Exactly, and I think that's following the joy, right? I love, what's this beautiful man that lived? He said, follow your bliss, right? follow the thing that's calling you. And I think that will evolve you. It will grow you. You will, you'll fall down. At first you won't do it very well, but then you start to figure it out. And then you'll figure out maybe I'm in this, but maybe I want to do this in this, right? And it leads to another thing. And you're just following threads of inspiration. And then we're alive and enjoying this beautiful experience here, right? Taking us towards joy and away from pain.
Toni, the show we first talked to you about on the station came to Geelong. It was very much a storytelling in word as well as in song. Over the years, the presentation that you do on stage, has it changed, or have you kept a similar format to present to the people of Geelong again when you come to visit us soon?
Well, what I'm doing is, so the retrospective that I'm touring is, think of it like a chocolate box of memories, right? When somebody gives you a chocolate box, what do? You go for the one favorite first, right? You try to sift through and see, what is that one, right? Well, I play all the band favorites in the first hour. And in the second hour, I give you a tasting of 3 productions that I'm rolling out that are very, very different from anything I've ever done. I'm giving underwater concerts for whales and dolphins. I wrote some music with my former husband that inspired me to celebrate the bees and to sing to whales and dolphins. I bought a $20,000 bubble helmet, and I have a production called Reef 360 for the bees and the pollinators that I'm celebrating. It's 2 hours of nonstop animation and a lot of 3 months of audience engagement, and all to celebrate the bees. And it's it's a play date. It's doing things different. I'm an installation artist. I'm a singer. I'm a storyteller. I love visual. I love. I need to make my storytelling more immersive. This is something that's been calling me. That's why I moved to Australia, because I knew I was going to be doing these types of productions, and I didn't want to go to the U.S. to do it. I thought it would be good to do it here. So that's what's happening now. So It's All a Beautiful Noise, and I dropped 3 singles next year. I played those 3 songs from It's All a Beautiful Noise at the end of the show, and this is the thing I found out from writing the music for this album and putting it together for this show, is that I have a superpower, and it's loving people. And I guarantee you that at the end of the show, you are going to go, holy moly, she said she's going to love me up, and I am freaking loved up. You.
Oh, magnificent.
I have a song called I Believe in You, and I swear to God, it's so great. I can actually say that. It's so wonderful. And anyway, and then I've got Citizens of the Planet that comes at the end of the decade. It's already recorded and mastered and ready to go. And it has 2 hours of animation with that. And it's a TED Talk meets music show as well. Anyway, yeah, so I'm doing some crazy stuff.
Well, Toni, when the albums are ready to go, we'll keep in touch with your man, Mark, who lined this conversation up, and come back and chat to us again. We'll play some of your songs on the wireless down here in G-Town. What do you reckon?
Can't wait. I just can't wait.
Excellent. Now, we should tell people a couple of other things about you. One, the cleverly named ToniChilds.com. It must have taken a while to come up with that website. It's full of stuff, and it's got some information about the projects you're working on. Did I read also there that you operate things like retreats and stuff like that near where you are up there on the Northern Rivers?
Yeah, I was doing that before COVID hit, and then we're actually looking at going to start doing some again, but right now we're just focused on getting this new music out and doing music videos, and I'm going to be taking the retrospective to the U.S., Canada, and Europe before It's All a Beautiful Noise goes and tours internationally, because there's a reason why, but I need to do the retrospective first so people can have all the oldies.
Yep. No, well, the retrospective tour is coming to Geelong. I tried desperately while we were talking to get the other dates up, and they're not coming up, so we'll get those up and we'll put them on our website or something so that people know. But the most important one for our listeners happens 3 weeks from today, Saturday the 22nd of February at 7:30 p.m. at the magnificent Story House facility in Ryrie Street in Geelong. We saw Marsha Hines there about 7 weeks ago, so you're in good company on that stage. It's a really nice little venue, holds a few hundred people. It's just a ripper of a place. It's in Little Mallop Street and Ryrie Street in Geelong. Now, you can get a ticket, Rob, for $80. That must be a spelling error, because that's just ridiculously good value. 150 million, I'll try again, 150 minutes of Toni's work, 60 minutes in the first act, as said, going back through a lot of the older songs, and then 70 minutes after an interval whereby, some of the stuff you've been talking about. It is an absolutely exciting project that you're on, and we can't wait to see you in G-Town.
Well, thank you for having me. I give you both a kiss on the cheek. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. We feel the love of which you spoke of earlier.
Fantastic.
Sounds like there's plenty of it. Toni, you are a genuine star. We love your work, and it sounds like there's more work to come. And without being disrespectful, at your vintage, to be still desiring to be creative is a wonderful thing. But there's a lot in your industry that are the same, and we get the privilege to chat to a lot of them, and it's good to see you're still out and about and enthusiastic and working hard to entertain.
Well, this is it. I'm having fun.
Now, at the risk of trivialising the name of the next song we're going to play, Toni, where you are to get to Geelong, you are going to have many rivers to cross. And we thought we might play that song. What do you reckon?
Go for it.
Out of 1989, this is our special guest, Toni Childs, with Many Rivers to Cross. Thanks for being part of the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Toni. Best wishes.
All the best.